Maria Jose is asking, since a few weeks ago, I feel the desire of doing my 6 months, and I would like you to talk about our creative power and how to take action, but at the same time surrendering and trusting.
You know, I think the beautiful thing is that when you start to focus on consciousness, it's as if everything in the universe aligns to support you. You have to be very anchored and have no limits. Just have a yes to however that looks. If you're open and you move into action, you can create miracles, and you have to trust in that. And this is a big aspect of the 6 months, getting everything to fall into line. Your work, the money, the family, the judgments, the fears. The minute you take this decision, you've already started your 6 months. Because we have so many attachments, so many fears, it's very difficult for us sometimes to leave what we perceive as our security. And we start to see all of our ideas that are not open to give this phenomenal experience to ourselves. And this is the reason that you're doing the 6 months. So you can start to love yourself. And it's very important to remember one thing. You are the source from which everything flows. So if the source is clear, is abundant, is flowing, that transmits into everything in your life. And this is what's so important. If you love yourself, you love your life. If you don't, you're always reclaiming the outside. And you have to, humans need to be aware of this. If I am the actions of consciousness, I take consciousness into the world. If I'm the actions of fear, I take fear into the world. So you have to ask yourself that question. Am I willing to walk through my fears to become the actions of consciousness and give that consciousness to the world?
When I'm unifying with eyes closed, I want to surrender deeper and deeper. And suddenly I just jump, and there is a fear that interrupts my unification. What is this? What I should do?
You know, you're afraid of letting go of control. Because sometimes we go into this space of nothing, no? It's not like when we're falling asleep. We go into sleep. It's almost the same experience, but you're very conscious. You're very aware of what's transpiring. And that's where you just have to jump. You just jump into the void and everything will open. We can always go deeper and deeper and deeper, but do it from a place of love, you know, not fear. And do it bit by bit. I'm going deeper, I'm going deeper, I'm going deeper. I've gone.
Mirna is commenting. I always felt that I had to go and look for things, and today, thanks to this situation, gives us the possibility to stay home, and I'm feeling as if the love, for the first time, is just coming towards me with this big learning process. What do you have to say about this?
You know, the thing is when we're outside and busy in our activities, consuming, socializing, everything that we do, for the majority of the time, we're escaping ourselves. Now we're forced to be home. And sure, you can still escape yourself. Or you can choose to focus on consciousness. And this is what you've done. Now you're focused on consciousness. Now you're listening to consciousness. You know, doing these workshops is an amazing thing because you can really, really grow because your focus has changed. And when your focus changes, everything expands. So it's wonderful that you're taking advantage of this coronavirus. It's wonderful. And really, really take the full advantage of that.
Does it have importance for the expansion of consciousness that we people will know the real origin of the coronavirus?
You know, I don't think it's important. The important thing is what you choose to do. You know, we always want to understand everything. And the big questions, we have no answer. Not even the most brilliant scientists have answers. The only place to find the answers is in consciousness. And the universe is always pushing us to evolve. There's nothing wrong in this moment. It's just another experience. And we have to enjoy the experience, and we have to utilize it to become the best of who we can be. You know, many people are in panic. Many people are in fear because they don't have control. They're being controlled by the media, by a little virus. And I'm not trying to downplay the virus. You know, lots of people have died. It's a serious thing. But if you're at home in your house, does it serve to keep worrying about it or trying to work out why it happened? There's no why. It just is. These things happen. You know, the universe revolves, evolves. There's natural disasters, there's sicknesses, there's wars. Everything happens. And this is just another thing that will pass. And yes, it will leave a mark. It will create change. Everything that's based in destruction creates rebirth. And on some level, this is a great thing because everything's about evolution. So you need to go deep and find the most important answers. You know, don't be obsessing about this. Just use it to go in. And everything will change. Everyone's going to come out of this coronavirus changed, whether they go in or not. Everyone will have to evaluate their lives. Everyone. And I hope it creates more love, more unity, instead of this constant division and this competition and belief systems. Because really we're all one. The lines in the map are not real. And I think we're starting to realise that. We're all global citizens. We're all a creation of love. And that's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to focus on. Not the por qué. Por qué? ¿Quién sabe?
Mary is asking. Now when I feel something like fear or anger, I can see that's just my thinking. And when I really see that, the feeling dissolves. But I'm not sure if I'm bypassing something I need to feel and I'm avoiding it. How can I tell the difference?
You know, whatever's there to be seen will come to the surface. You can't avoid it for eternity. But the thing is, you've done a huge process. And you can see your dramas. And you're choosing not to go into them. And you should be at that point. So don't create another drama because you're bored, thinking, oh, maybe I'm avoiding my emotions. Whatever's meant to be seen, if you're open, you will see it. Just be gentle, just enjoy, just celebrate in the fact that you can go beyond those voices in your head. Because I remember very clearly when you couldn't, when they used to rule your life. And now you're having a new experience, and you can give that experience to other people.
They was asking, how can I stop obsessing with a partner? Is better to force myself to cut that obsession or to allow the unification to at some point will dissolve it?
You know, any obsession is a product of stress. We always have a theme or multiple themes. Our partners, our children, our money, our health, our security. These are our favourite dramas, no? Our attachments. And whenever there's stress moving in the body, we attach to our attachments because we have a fear of loss. And we have to see that. And when we see that fear, we have to go in. You have to stop obsessing. But just laugh at yourself. Don't chastise yourself like, oh, I'm obsessed. Just laugh. Put the facet, connect with your fears, connect with what's going on, and let it go. And you'll start to see that these programs you've had for eternity, it's not something new. It's your drama. Why do you think all these songs sell so well? All the broken heart songs, the betrayal, the longing. Because everyone has the same circle. Because fundamentally, people don't believe that they deserve love.
Andrea is saying, last year I had an accident and the pain still is very, very intense. I cannot continue doing trekking, that is my favorite sport. And I really feel like if there is something very wrong with me, and my thoughts are, how is it possible that 27, I'm so fucked?
You know, you have to be gentle with yourself. It takes time. And you have to embrace the moment. You know, you have to find happiness now. You know, when I had my big accident, I couldn't ride for 2 years. So I did other things to strengthen my body, to heal, but I didn't suffer because my happiness didn't depend on that. My happiness depended on me surrendering and flowing. You know, and you need to embrace what's happening in this moment. For me, I see that many people have accidents. And it's always a call to go deeper, to stop and go in and find other things to do. Oh, well, I can't trek, but I can swim. I can't do this, but I can do that. So just keep going. Discover new things. Stop longing for what you can't do in this moment. Just surrender and allow, and everything will come together.
Karen it's very difficult for me to stop listening to my thoughts. How can I do it? Because I want to follow my heart, but it seems that my thoughts are more powerful.
If you can see your thoughts so clearly, you can just watch them. Don't allow them to become your master. You are your master. Anchor in your heart, trust in your heart, and don't follow your fears. Don't allow them to paralyze you. Just laugh at them. And don't give them strength. Just anchor deeper. Fear, facet. Fear, facet. Everyone can go through their fears. And you can do it too.
My daughter, Sabine, 9 years old, is unifying with me. And she says that she feels like a little bird in her heart when she closes her eyes and goes deep, deep, deep. But she gets confused because she doesn't know if the little bird is her intuition, her soul, or her consciousness. Can you clarify for her?
I can absolutely assure her that it's all of that. And just trust in that little bird. Because in this moment, it's singing so sweetly. But in one moment, it's going to break free and it's going to be like a grand condor. And it will own the skies. So just trust in the little bird.
Isa is asking, happens that out of the big pains, I always grow a lot. So my question is, if there is always the learning process happens through suffering, or if there is growth through the joy, or in another way, not suffering.
You know, growth comes through intelligence. But sometimes we're so habitual that the universe has to hit us over the head with a hammer. Like Thor, like boom. And then we go, oh, I don't have any control. I have to do something different. But as we start to evolve in consciousness, we've become present and we know self. And then the evolution becomes so easy. Because when we're present with self, when we're in the moment, when we're loving ourselves, we're able to see, oh, that takes me to suffering. I'm not doing that anymore. Oh, that's a program. Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. We start to make choices that are based in unconditional love. So sometimes in the beginning, humanity needs a big shake, no? And life gives you those. You get sick, lose your job, people die, a multitude of things can transpire. And yes, everything's provoking, firstly an experience, because humans have experiences, but it's also provoking transformation. But it doesn't mean you have to suffer at all. And it's an interesting thing, because young people now are very aware very quickly. You know, before it was taking a long time. But young people are smart enough to see what serves and what doesn't serve. So we're evolving. This is a clear indication that we're evolving.
Camila says, I watch the children and teenagers that all the big attachment is on the video games and on the screens. Their expectation, daily expectation, is to have the permission of the parents to be able to play, and all day goes around that. How can we help them?
I don't think there's anything wrong. It's a new generation. We all have different things that we love. And this is a computerized generation. So I wouldn't make it something wrong. I think it's important they have a more holistic experience. You know, and you can introduce them to other things so they can find joy in other things, like going out into nature, playing sports. All of these things are important. You have to be inventive. And if you want to spend time with them, that inspires them. But there's nothing wrong with the video games. You know, we watch television. What's the difference? You know, you have to create an environment that's more complete, more holistic. But don't make that wrong. Because they love it. They love to play video games. They love to be in the internet. They must be enjoying the coronavirus. I bet you're giving them the computer now. You're like, please go and play with your computer. Or no.
Alma, my nephew, 14 years old, since long ago, he's saying he wants to do a piercing and to leave the hair long. And he has the permission of his parents. But when he told me, I felt that I had to stop that. Why I cannot be with him in his decision?
Because you want to control him. Because you have some antique ideas about what's good and what's bad. And you know, when you prohibit children from doing things, they always do it. They might not do it in that moment. When I was young, I wasn't allowed to wear black. I almost live in black. When I was young, I wasn't allowed to have a tattoo. Now I'm full of tattoos. When I was young, I wasn't allowed to have a motorbike. As soon as I left home, I bought a huge Harley Davidson. You know, you can prohibit all you want, but you have to allow children to have their own experience. Because what happens? Then they make their own choices. If something's prohibited, it's so attractive. So attractive. Allow them to have their experiences. What does it matter? Maybe he has to cut his hair later. Maybe he has to take the piercing out. Maybe he gets sick of it. You know, but stop being boring, huh? You know, get with the program. Uh-huh. Tia, boring.
Since the quarantine, I'm living in a very small, tiny space with people I don't tolerate. I don't tell them what I feel because I'm afraid they are going to tell me, okay, leave. So I go to the bathroom, I move my emotion, I focus in consciousness, and everything is fine till they open their mouth and they do their comments. So what is that I'm not seeing? Because I want to be able to live with these people in peace.
But you're doing it perfectly. You've created all of your dramas externally. And you're using it to grow. And that's perfect. Move the stress. Move the emotions. Move the judgments. But at some point, you have to see how reactive you are. You know, count how many times you go to the bathroom. And if you're running there constantly, you've got emotional diarrhea. And you have to see this. You know, you've got to start not to get so hooked. It's like you're sitting there waiting. Now what are they going to say? Now what are they going to do? And start appreciating them. You know, they feel your separation. Give to them. Not to change them, but praise them. Give appreciation. Thank them for allowing you to be there. Look for something to praise. Of course there's things to praise. Everyone has something to praise. Focus on positivity and they'll start to focus on positivity. It's in your hands. You're rejecting their negativity or their criticism and see how much of it's in your head. Have a look at that. Be the actions of that which you wish to perceive. I always say that. But it's true. Don't expect it to come from the outside. You do it. Since you're so evolved with your emotional diarrhea. Perfection is unity within the duality, that which is always present. It's the experience of unconditional love in everything that can see beyond that which is constantly changing. This is a perfect illusion of duality. And the only way to know that is to expand your consciousness. And once you do that, once you find your true essence, once you realize that you are the totality, then you'll perceive the perfection.
Ricardo is asking, my girlfriend and I, we talk a lot on our relationship. There is a lot of love. We are very companions. We are close. But as we are very young, we would like to do things by ourselves also. And we don't know how to handle this. What do you think?
You have to have the freedom to do things by yourself. It depends on what the things are. Obviously, you do things by yourself. Your own experiences. But if you want to be clear in the relationship, you have to be honest. And that's the most important thing. And there will be drama. Sure. Is the relationship strong enough to hold that? I think it's an important thing to trust in yourselves, be real with each other, and give each other freedom. But you have to be clear about the limits. That's all. And I don't know this thing, because we're young, if you have something so wonderful, why aren't you just enjoying that? Because you think you're missing out on something, huh? And that's just an idea.
Georgina is asking, do you think that each of us has what deserves in the perfect moment? Do you think that there is a universe plan for each of us?
You always create exactly what you need. You are the universe. And you're creating cause and effect all the time. Is there a pre-written plan? No. You have free will. You're creating everything. Multitudes of experiences. Just be in the experience. Be the best of you. We always think like the classroom, no? We think everything has a goal. Everything has a reason. And that's why we do that. We do that to create the illusion of good, bad, right, wrong, what to do, what not to do, time, space, birth, death. That's the duality. But it's so much bigger than what we can perceive. And there's no porqué. There's no why. It just is. So instead of trying to work out why, go in. Because your head can never understand why. Only your heart has the answers. So you have to go in and surrender. And then you'll see why the Buddha laughs. Because there's no porqué. It just is. Eternally is.
Ana Julia, I'm a partner, I have partners in a business. And I'm very focused in the conscious business, and they are very focused in the financial aspect only. And there is a lot of friction in between us. Do you have any thought about it? What we can do?
Well, you have to be clear with your integrity. You know, is it compromising your integrity? And you have to be clear about that. But don't make money bad. Because if you've got a business, it needs to make money, no? Or you don't have business. So you have to find a balance. But if you feel you're out of integrity, that you're compromising for money, you need to be clear with yourself. Is this for me? You know, everything comes back to you. You can't change your partners. And remember, they're your partners. So that's a reflection of you. It's easy to sit in criticism and judgment. Maybe you're not open to receive. Maybe you have a judgment with money. You need to look at all of these things. Because money is just an energy. And it moves, and it generates, and it provides. There's nothing wrong with money. It's an energy that everyone needs in this world.
Juliana is asking you to talk about the importance of the facet of the witness. How we can use it to really witness in the middle of this situation we are living.
You know, the witness is the heart, our supreme consciousness. And we have to anchor there. And it has to become so loud that it drowns out the nagging of the intellect. And it's important because once you know self, you know your programs. They're always the same. They have different characters, but they're the same program. So the witness sits there in the love, in the security, in the abundance, in the trust, in the faith, creating, and it witnesses the fear. It witnesses the intellect. It takes what it needs, and the rest it lets go. And it enjoys the moment. It sees the perfection of the moment. The witness. And when you're really present in the moment, you will know, because you will hear everything. Everything. And you will be connected with everything. But everything. It doesn't matter where people are. You will be connected. And your intuition and your insight will be so sharp. And your senses will be so open that you have everything within you. And this is the witness. This is the witness. It's present. It hears everything. Like Betsy. She hears everything. And I remember when I first started living in the present moment, and it was such a shock for me. Because every day I walked my dog on the beach. Now, I've always lived on the beach. Or close, no? In Australia, it's easy because it's an island. And I remember I was walking my dog, and I'm sure you saw it in the movie. But I was walking my dog, and all of a sudden, I heard the waves. And it sounds ridiculous that someone could walk on the beach every day, a person that meditated. I had never heard the waves because my head was so busy achieving, doing, racing into the future, worrying about my romantic relationships, worrying about this, worrying about that. And everything was so superficial. And this day, I was so present. It stopped my world. I heard everything. And I thought, I started to cry because I realized since I was a child, I'd never been present. When I was a child, I was present. And after that, never present. So maybe you think you're in the present moment, but once you start to become the witness, then you'll know what it is. It's like surround sound. You hear everything. You smell everything. You see everything. You know everyone intimately because you know self. So focus on becoming the witness. And every time I think of facet, you're creating more of the witness. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, the witness.